I hate how the defendants act in all trials. Like, I'm always mad at their attitude. I don't like them not looking at people. I don't like them taking notes.
The note-taking is so funny to me. What, you gotta remember this?
Yeah, look what the they write down.
Bro, you got tons of people here working for you. You don't have to be a part of this. You already did your part.
Yeah, although I wonder if sometimes they do it so that they look busy because they don't know how to look innocent or whatever. So they're like, I gotta stay busy or else I'm just gonna, like, look lasciviously. Ugh. I don't know why I tried that word, but you know what I meant to say.
Lasciviously.
It starts with an L, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't?
We gotta cut this.
Lasciviously. Is that right?
We gotta cut this.
No, this is the cold open. How do you say lasciviously? Nailed it. There we go.
I'm Lester Holt.
All right, so here we are. And guess what? It's not a From the Vault. We've got a brand new Dateline. And now this thing took us by surprise. Kate, why don't you go ahead and set the scene for where we were Friday evening when you texted me?
Well, we were under the impression that the new season would be starting September 28th? 29th?
Yeah.
And that's what all the press said. And then all of a sudden I get a text from my mom, Jillionaire.
Jillionaire's the one that scooped you. Okay. I love it.
She said, Dateline's new tonight. And I was like, no, it's not. And I'm so used to just telling her no, because she's always wrong.
Yep.
But I look it up. And sure enough, on the same day that it's scheduled to air, they have press saying season premiere tonight, September 15th. And I'm like, no.
You saw copy that said it, that called it the season premiere.
Yep.
That's what you're telling me?
The season 32 premiere.
Because according to Peacock, according to IMDb, according to Dateline, this is still part of season 31. I'm not kidding.
It makes no sense. Why is there a 2-month break at the end of season 31? And then you have season 32 starting in a week and a half.
That's a great question. I don't know, but I swear that's how it's labeled. I mean, that's how Peacock has it. I'm considering for our purposes, this is not the season premiere. This is still part of the last season. Now, we talked about this a little on Friday, is the cojones on Dateline as a show for like the baller moves that they do just as a show in general is so awesome. We were just laughing at the idea that like if another show, like if Stranger Things just up and dropped the season premiere and didn't say anything about it, like the world would melt. And Dateline's like, we don't give a we're putting a new ep out. Oh, you think it's season premiere? It's last season still because we're Dateline and that's how we do.
Yeah, with like 5 hours notice. They're like, what up? Here's a new one.
Yeah, and now I specifically follow an Instagram account called 1 Hour to Dateline. And this is the only way I know when there's a new episode, okay? Is because some fan account posts this one clip of AC going, it's an hour from Dateline.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Canning and this is your 1 hour warning to Dateline. We hope you'll join us at 9, 8 Central.
And that's the best advertisement they have, which kills me.
It is so baller.
That they don't care. I put this right up there with the fact that they don't give lower thirds. They don't tell anybody's name. They're like, you can listen and Google it if you want. We're not going to spell it for you, bros. That's pretty cool.
They want their audience to be well informed. They assume that everybody is super knowledgeable, up on true crime, and that's kind of what we do here on our podcast.
I'm Lester.
I do like that. They kind of, they don't, not sugarcoat, what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of assume you are on board with things as they roll into it.
Yeah, they don't dumb it down.
I like that. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I guess you want to hop into this, baby?
Let's go.
So you're cool with, I mean, look, I'm with you that it's absurd that this is season 31, but I'm just following what they're calling it. And I think for our purposes, it's better to call it season 31 because now we can still say that the show's premiering when the show does, when Dateline comes back and you come back. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Sweet. Kate doesn't like talking about this, but she's actually an FBI profiler and she's going to be gone for 3 weeks on a top secret case where they need her skills.
Actually, I'm doing forensics with cell phone data.
Sweet. They need a specialist in there. Okay. Well, you know what? There's some real know-it-alls in this app that I like to talk about.
Here's Josh Mankiewicz with The Streets of Laredo.
IMDb describes it as, law enforcement officers investigate a string of deadly shootings targeting women in the border city of Laredo, Texas. Now, Kateline, when the shock subsided that there was a new Dateline on our hands and you watched this app, what did you think of it overall?
I thought it sucked.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why?
It was so boring. It was so straight down the middle. I had to watch it twice just to think of things to say.
That's funny. Okay, well, look, I've got my gripes with it, and maybe even a few specific for old JMank. But I liked this episode a lot just because of the amount of body cam footage we had of the actual going down. Like, I mean, we'll get to it, but there was a lot of stuff that as it was unfolding, we got to watch it on live footage.
True.
That was pretty sweet.
True.
That's when the trooper turned on his body cam audio.
But yeah, we'll get into that. So the year is 2018. It's September 3rd, and JMank opens the episode by telling us about the streets of Laredo and how nice it is.
These are the streets of Laredo, Texas.
Kurt, why the hell did they name the streets of that subdivision after mystery writers?
Men and women who created frightening, intriguing stories full of twists.
I have no clue, because also, what street was that? They never came back to that street. That's not where the guy lived. I looked up the name of his street. He lived on Burr Oak. So it's not like the killer lived on Stephen King Boulevard.
No, it seemed like the streets in that subdivision, like Agatha Christie Road or whatever, it looked like they were kind of mansion-type homes. So nothing in this story actually took place in that subdivision.
No, not at all. And also, look, we know that it's because they need their in. Like, they got to find their hook into the episode. So look, JMank found one, okay? If these are streets in Laredo, then it all fits.
And these are also the streets of Laredo.
But even the street signs they showed look janky as hell and not like real. It's like if you looked up those real street names, it'd be something else like Washington or something.
Yeah, it would be the name of the subdivision, and that's just like the main loop of it.
So we're off to a rocky start there. They find the body of what is assumed to be a dead sex worker like 15 miles outside of town.
The victim was 29-year-old Melissa Ramirez.
The shell casings around her body matched the typical ammunition that would be used that law enforcement carry.
Right.
So right away, they know they're looking for a cop of some kind.
And then they hear word that there was a cop in a truck by this dead body right as it was being found. And then people tried to yell and stop the truck from driving away, but it kept driving, right?
Yeah.
And when they saw the truck leave, they noticed that there was a body next to where the truck was parked.
The odds of that truck being parked right next to Melissa's body and it not being part of it are astronomical.
Yeah.
But in this case, that turns out to be true. He had no idea that he had his truck parked right next to a dead body.
Because the truck's owner, 32-year-old Rene Arce, was himself a Laredo police officer.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I think I'm giving this some credit as a decent ep, because I thought the same thing, like Officer Arce, this guy's totally in on it. What, he was out there looking at property to buy? Sure, dude. I was waiting for JMank to be like, we looked, there was no property for sale. Didn't get any follow-up like that, so that was kind of a bummer.
And these are also the streets of Laredo.
So they bring this cop in, and they've got him on tape. We've got the tape playing of the interrogation. And he's just like, yeah, I was there, but I didn't see a dead body.
Did you take a gun with you out there when you went to look in?
Yeah, I take mine concealed.
And you know, we're all sitting here going, bullshit. No way. But guy's alibi checks out, and he was not the one. He didn't have that kind of ammo.
He was just checking out real estate.
When you see this stretch of road where her body was found, it's pretty desolate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the fact that he was pulled up right there on that stretch, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it kind of still makes you have questions. Like, you sure he's not connected?
Right.
Like, you sure him and the killer weren't like bros on this? Because it's pretty wild.
if he's not connected, what was he really doing out there?
Yeah, that's what I'd like. That's a great question.
It didn't look like land that would be for sale.
Yeah, and again, that'd have been an easy thing to figure out. But, all right, so that cop didn't do it. And also, we have to talk about, I wrote his name down, Federico Calderon, the detective. His name is Federico Calderon, but I'll be calling him Detective Dingus because, just like the other week,
Detective Rob. You're mad at everybody.
wasn't crazy about this guy's cop skills. What'd you think of this guy?
It's not really what I thought of him. It's that someone else in town does better hard-hitting investigating than he does. And that would be La Gordiloca.
Yep.
Priscilla is known as La Gordiloca.
The big crazy woman.
Gordiloca.
So,
Yep.
this woman is a G.
Yep.
The big crazy woman.
Thank you. Everybody says the fat crazy and everything.
She rules.
Yep.
She goes live on Facebook to report crime.
Yeah, Facebook Live. What the?
She's got
That's first question.
she's got 20,000 people following these lives.
200,000 is what JMank said.
We're live, FYI. Just so you're
Oh, we're live.
Hey, want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
She even goes live on Facebook with JMank in the car, and he's like, oh, what up? Shout out to all my homies.
He didn't even know. Yeah, he's got his hand on the bar, and he's the only one in this van being like, what am I doing? AC would never agree to this.
No, but he's rolling with it because
Yep.
that's how he do. And
Yep.
it was cool to see. Anytime there's crime happening, someone will let her know and she's on the scene immediately.
Yeah, and she'll come into it later. Usually when they introduce someone like this is when I start rolling my eyes, where it's like, how involved is this person? Or for instance, like we love to talk about when they have true crime podcasters on as a talking head, we're always like, who the hell is this? We've never heard of these people.
Yeah, and why does their opinion matter? Their opinion can't matter any more or less than ours.
But Gordy Loca, the cops know about her because there's one crime scene where they go, oh, Gordy Loca's here.
Is she really?
So that already justifies it. It's like she's the real deal. She's the boots on the ground. She's getting it done, right? We got to give it to her.
That's a CBS show. That has to be a CBS show.
It was a scene custom made for
We're live, FYI.
La Gordy Loca.
Tuesdays this fall.
You're right.
Thank you.
And I do not care for her driving with her recording her vid and stuff for obvious reasons. Yeah?
Yeah, but she wasn't actually talking to people while driving. She'd be like pulled over in a parking lot watching go down, addressing the camera. She would just let it roll otherwise.
Okay. I mean, there's one shot where she's driving and she's got it right here. And I wasn't crazy about that, but I trust
You trust her?
La Gordy Loca. I trust her. She's great, and she had like a super bald head. I loved her look. I loved how her van was like kind of messy. That's why I was loving JMank in there. Like he just was like, he went on like her beat.
I just love that he was down to go. He was like, let's do a ride along.
Yup.
Hi, everybody.
What'd you think of JMank's look? Is that a new fade, or have I just not seen the guy in a while?
Oh, I didn't pick up on a new fade.
He's showing the gray off more. It's super tight on the sides, but I don't know. I thought it looked good. I thought JMank was doing it.
Yeah, you know, we love JMank here at Lester Holt.
We do. Although, as someone was dying to point out to me that he said prostitute instead of sex worker, which I rewatched for this purpose only. He did say prostitute one time, but he also said sex worker the other 20 times. So like this was just a flub on his side. Yeah?
I think we know that he's
cool.
He's cool. And also the fact that one thing I did like about this episode is that everybody was treating these victims and their investigations like they would any other victim. We weren't getting a sense of that. Well, she's a sex worker, so she's not as important. They're not doing that in Laredo.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves justice. And even interviewing other sex workers, they weren't rude or treating them poorly. It was like all very on the level.
Yeah, it was.
Also, the body cam footage, you see them interacting with these women, and it's very respectful. They're taking them seriously.
Yeah.
And the city of Laredo is apparently one of the safest cities in the country. So the fact that these murders were happening, everyone really took it seriously because it was rare. And typically if they find a dead body, it's from someone crossing the border.
That was a good point by JMank, where it's like a dead body is usually somebody who died from the heat.
And
all right, so Melissa's dead, and they're trying to find out more information about him. And this is part one where Deputy Dingus got under my skin because he said, and we do what all cops do. We got nosy.
Oh, yeah?
We resorted to what cops do best, and that's being nosy and talking to people.
Do you remember that part when he said that? Because if you don't, I'll bring it up later, because it's not something to be proud of. You f***ing dill. That's what I have to say to that detective.
That is a possibility, for sure.
So I'm going to plant that right there. Okay, Melissa, we found her body. We don't know what to do.
We're nowhere closer than we were the day of the actual murder.
We're asking around, trying to find out info on her. 10 days later, we got another dead body.
Yeah.
And now this one, also a sex worker.
Claudine.
They finally found Claudine Loera. She wasn't talking.
And this was super, super sad when we were talking to her fam.
Yeah, she was also found shot with the same kind of weapon.
Yep.
So it's clear that there's someone targeting sex workers. And Claudine's family, when the sister was saying she saw it on the news.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
And didn't know that it was Claudine and was like, oh, that poor woman. She suffered so much.
That poor family.
Her family.
Yeah.
And then the next day she finds out it's her family.
And I kept thinking, man, poor lady. She must have suffered a lot. I go, poor family. She must have suffered, and next thing you know, we're that family. I think my whole block heard me scream.
That was rough.
But we did learn that from Claudine's sister, that when they were kids, they liked to bring frogs into the house.
Here we go. Here we go.
And dress them up in doll clothes.
I was waiting.
And that sounds so dope.
She would help me sneak in my frogs into the house. I love to dress them up in Barbie clothes.
Can we get a whole episode just about that? And typically I would say those kind of backstory nonsense filler things are just a waste of time in Dateline, but
yeah,
I want more of the frogs in the clothes. Can we see pictures? Where are the photos?
Exactly. I was dying. I was hoping that the next shot we saw was her as a kid with a frog in like a little Barbie outfit.
Yeah.
I was dying then too because JMank's reaction was amazing. He goes, huh.
I never thought to do that.
Actual frogs.
Yes.
Huh.
It was so random.
Yeah. Oh, God, that was so good, though. I definitely wanted more info on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Wait, there's something about the first victim that I'm forgetting that... Oh, she predicted her death, supposedly.
She did. A couple weeks earlier, she was telling people that someone was going to kill her, and they were going to shoot her in the head. Specifically.
Yeah, and the way that they set it up was that it was just, they were like having dinner, and she just stopped everything and said, listen up, I'm not going to be around much longer, I'm going to get shot in the head.
And she said, I'm not going to be here for long, someone's going to kill me.
She didn't tell you who that was?
She never said who it was.
She said somebody was going to shoot her in the head.
Yes.
And that was it. Like, so did they just keep talking, or like?
Well, they were trying to find some of her regular Johns.
Right.
And there was one in particular that friends remembered Melissa talking about, that he would get this crazy look in his eyes.
Right. So this is now the second suspect that the cops are like, maybe this is our guy.
Yeah, but his alibi checked out. He was driving a long haul truck route. He just happens to have psychotic crazy eyes.
She said that he had this weird look on his eyes whenever he would see Melissa, like an evil look.
That's another lead out the window.
Don't you love that whenever a woman is murdered, there are always multiple people in her life that could have done it? There's always multiple dudes that fit the MO, that fit the description, or are crazy enough where you're like, yeah, I could see them doing it.
This is the guy.
I'm the guy.
Or men that they've told people about to be like, if something happens to me, it's that guy.
Oh, yeah. All the time. That happens a lot.
Even if it's not, even if it doesn't end up being them, it's like women know, we know so many men who want to kill us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sucks, but I agree. That's a real bummer. A woman dies. We got all sorts of suspects on the line, including Melissa's boyfriend, Chode, or Chone, right? That was number 3. Yeah, they weren't big fans of Chode. I don't know why.
Chode or taint or something.
Shortly before her death, she'd been communicating with a guy who went by the nickname Chone.
He was another one where they were like, we don't like this guy. It's got to be the boyfriend.
Well, he had a rap sheet. They knew of him.
Yeah.
He was kind of bad news.
His name was Chode.
But wasn't him.
Yeah. Wasn't him either. So now that's 3 misses.
Yeah.
So now it's been 10 days. There's 2 murders. The cops don't have any leads whatsoever. And so now they're thinking there's a serial killer on the loose because, I mean, this is looking like the same guy through and through. Then it's 12 days after the first murder, and there is a young woman who shows up at a gas station shirtless. She's got a bra on, but she has no shirt and she's out of breath, and she finds a cop that have to be filling his car at the gas pump. And so she runs up to him and says, oh my God, this guy tried to kill me.
Right.
And goes on to tell this tale of this guy that sounds a whole lot like our suspect.
Yeah.
The cops are pretty stuck.
This is Erica, and she was with a customer who weirdly brought her to his house.
Multiple times, like she had been there before.
Yeah.
Real weird.
And on this particular night, he convinced her to go with him to the gas station to get snacks.
Yep.
And when she was there, she was able to sneak out of his grasp. I guess he was threatening her or trying to grab her, she said, and it would seem like his intention was maybe to take her out to the same kind of desolate location as the previous murders and kill her. But she got away and ran 100 yards over to this cop.
So he was trying to grab you?
He was trying to grab me.
You're
afraid, sir.
I'll say this right now, Erica's the all-star of this app. I like pointing out an all-star. Erica is the all-star for me.
She led them right to him.
Exactly. She did.
It's because of her being brave enough to get away from him and run, and being lucky that the cop happened to be there. Although if he hadn't, I'm sure she would have gone inside to whoever was working. You know, she was determined to get out of there.
She's telling this cop about this John that she felt threatened by, talking about how he went back to his house and they had started talking about the 2 dead girls. And this is when he started to get weird. And that's when she started thinking like, uh-oh, maybe this is the guy. Now,
yeah, he started asking questions. What are the other girls saying? Do the cops know anything? Have the cops asked you anything?
Yeah. So Erica's trying to describe this guy and who he is. And this is where the oil field worker comes in. And this is, again, where I got to point my finger at these friggin' detectives and cops, because she goes, they say multiple times that they think it's an oil field worker, correct? Are you with me on this, Kate?
Yeah, just because the truck that was seen at the crime, the first suspect's truck, was also similar to the kind of trucks that the oil field workers use.
The first time oil field worker is mentioned, she says he had boots on. Some cop off screen goes, like an oil field worker? And she goes, he's a supervisor. And then the follow-up is, you mean like a supervisor of an oil field worker? Like that, it's like it's the only thing they can process. It was the boots only.
She's wearing boots and like se ve como un oil field worker.
I think he said he was a supervisor somewhere.
Like in the oil field,
And who's Juan David Ortiz?
We think he's some sort of oil field worker or something.
Then they find out who this guy is and go to his house, and they find a white truck there that's consistent with trucks used in oil field work. I don't know. I just like, why were they so stuck on oil fields?
Yeah, I mean, trucks are trucks.
Yeah.
White pickup truck, which fits the bill for an oil field type truck.
This is, oh God, this was so cool for her. I was so pumped for Erica when she finds the cop. The cop starts hearing these things that it's like, oh, maybe this is this killer we're after. He calls his bosses. They're like, get her down to headquarters. Let's hear her story. So they go down there, and it's a cool scene where they like gave her a shirt, and she's outside in a carport smoking a cigarette and explaining them the story because it's like pouring down rain outside.
With a Texas rainstorm pounding on a galvanized roof, Erica laid it out.
And I was just thinking like how good that cigarette probably tasted. I mean, think about it. 10 minutes ago, she thought she was going to get like raped and murdered. Mm-hmm. And now here she is. I don't know. I must have tasted real good. She must have been super stoked to be with the cops at that very moment.
Yeah, and that's why she was willing to go with them, right? She got in the car and went with them.
Mm-hmm. Then that cop at the gas station called Deputy Dingus, and he was like, oh, bring her here. Let's all talk to her and get the scoop and then take credit for it like it was police work. You follow me?
Classic.
At the mention of the murders, the trooper decided to contact investigators on the off chance it was connected.
So she takes them to the neighborhood and points out the house, and that's when they look up the info and find out it's a guy named Juan David Ortiz. Mm-hmm. So this is our guy.
I'm the guy.
And this guy...
Or we're thinking.
This guy, he owns the house with his wife. They've got several kids. And guess what he does for a living?
Is he an oil field worker, Kate?
He's not, Kurt.
What is he?
He's a supervisor with Border
Patrol.
A federal agent, a cop, which is what they should have been looking for in the first place.
From the jump.
And which they were, but then they got sidetracked by oil workers.
Exactly. In the episode, they make it, they're like, you won't believe it. He's actually works for Border Patrol. I mean, we're shocked. And we're all going, okay, yeah this makes sense.
That's what
that was the first lead we had, 20 minutes ago, but whatever. So they're looking for this guy, and they find his truck is parked at a gas station. And this is one of those moments where the live cam stuff happens, where I'm going, I know that this is a straight down the middle Dateline. There's no big surprises, but I loved being able to see this happen because they've got both the cops, what do they call it, body cam, right? Mm-hmm. They got the angle from the cop who's pointing a gun at the guy coming out of the gas station, and they have the security camera angle up high of when he comes out. We got two angles on this live as it's happening. And then, I get why cops are so like when they pull somebody over and they want to get him out of the car, they're so mean and they're always yelling and like, just do it. Because I feel like they gave this guy a little bit too much leeway when they were talking to him, right?
Stop right there. Stop. Is this your truck?
Because they even say, he's like, oh, I'm so confused. I don't know why you have me here. And then, boo! Pew! He bolts.
He takes off.
And outruns them, by the way.
Oh, yeah. You see these cops huffing and puffing on their body cams.
Oh, yeah, you do. And they're just going, hey!
Okay, I'm going to explain to you.
And then he runs from the troopers.
Hey!
They chased Ortiz for a few blocks, then lost him.
No, bro. He went inside here.
But don't worry, they find him.
Yeah, they do. Now SWAT team's involved. And how cool was it? I mean, I don't think any of these SWAT team guys are cool. I think they're all kind of dopes.
Let's start leading the way. Let's start moving to where we think this guy is. Let's do it slowly and carefully.
But it was pretty cool when they were yelling for him, right? When they were going, David Ortiz!
Come on down!
Like yelling for him to come out from hiding and stuff. I was like, damn, dude, that'd be scary as hell.
David Ortiz! Come out!
Like the way the guy was yelling it had some real authority to it.
Sure.
They go up to a parking garage and he's hiding in the back of a truck and they arrest him. And they bring him back to headquarters to interview him.
And he spills everything. He says all the things.
But at first he doesn't and says he has no idea why that Erica stuff is in my car. I have no idea why you think I did this, blah, blah, blah. But also, we got to talk about his attitude when they first brought him in, right?
He thinks that he's like one of them and that this is all like a misunderstanding.
Yeah, but I'm more referring to the fact that he was roasting them for getting outrun by him. He was having a real fun time with that. Remember that when he was like, hey, who was that guy that I smoked?
Basically laughing that he was able to outrun the troopers.
Yeah, who's the trooper I smoked, man? The trooper that couldn't keep up with me, dude. Tell him he needs to work out some more, man. 2 of them.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, I've got problems with this guy and I hate his guts for lots of reasons. Number one being the murderer part. But I got to give him credit here. I was kind of laughing because those cops did get smoked.
Yeah.
They did get smoked. And they tailed Chode, the boyfriend, and he outran them in a high-speed chase. So it's like, these guys suck. Remember that?
There's people waiting for him outside his house. He takes off at a high rate of speed and
you're at a pursuit.
They chase him. He gets away.
Chode runs away and then calls the cops the next day and says, I'll come in and talk to you.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Is it harder to run when you have all that stuff on? They've got the gun, they've got the vest, they've got the camera, they've got the jingle jangles, they've got the handcuffs and all the things. Maybe it's not necessarily heavy, but it's kind of awkward and you're running kind of weird. I don't know. I'm not a cop.
Yeah, well, that's true. And the guy had it like, I don't know, a 60-foot head start or something. I mean, it's not like he's like, Jackie Joyner Kersey or something. It's not like he was super fast. But they get him and they're talking to him. And yeah, he pretty much, I mean, it's an 8-hour interrogation, but he eventually spills. And this is where his attitude comes out. And I hate this guy when he was like
bragging about how there's one you don't even know about.
Yes, that was crazy.
He tells us, and there's one more you probably don't even know about.
You guys haven't found this one.
But first, before he spills his guts, what does he do? He goes, hey, can you guys take these handcuffs off me? I'm not going to attack you. And the way that he said he wasn't going to attack him was like, I know I could take you all, but don't worry. I'm not going to use my force against you, so you can uncuff me.
I would have left them on. They did take them off, but I would have left them on just because of how annoying that guy is. Like, nah, dude.
They got the DA in their ear saying, do it. Take them off. Do it.
I started, can you please take this off? I'm not going to attack you.
He says, I'm not going to hurt you. And I'm sitting there watching like you're watching the Super Bowl, and I'm like, take them off. Take them off. Do it.
This is just regular police work. I don't understand why this was like so exciting for everybody.
Yeah, and also the door was still open to the interrogation room, so maybe I'm with you.
Oh yeah, you saw people walking around back there. It's like...
Yeah, maybe leave the cuffs on. But so then he starts spilling his guts. Would you like to tell us about some of those guts, Kateline?
Well, he admits to all the murders. He talks about how something would change in him and he would become...
The monster.
The monster comes out.
The monster comes out. Whatever, dude.
And he, for whatever reason, he would be driving up and down San Bur and see the sex workers and just think they should be eliminated because he didn't think they had jobs or they needed to get a job, get off the streets, whatever. It's like, bro, that is a job. It's an honest job. It's the oldest job.
Yeah.
How about Border Patrol?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about a job that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, let's get you out of there. And it's also this the nerve that he has to come in there going, I want to clean up the streets, okay? Because no one else is going to do it. Someone's got to do it. It's going to be me. He was a regular customer of Melissa and others. So it's just him, hypocrite. Anyway.
Yeah, and on that note, he would bring women to his house often. But he had a wife and kids.
Yeah.
So where were they when he would be bringing these women there?
Out of town. I did read an article about this because I'm trying to think, why is this the case that's all of a sudden part of last season, but it's new? Like, what's the urgency here? And I guess it's because the trial was last December. Wait, we got to go back. In his interrogation when he spills the beans, we find out some real up stuff. Like, for instance, the reason why he killed Claudine is because he heard that they had reached out to the border police and asked about Claudine's whereabouts because they wanted to ask her questions in relation to the murders. And Ortiz even says they suppose that he went and killed her specifically because she was friends with Melissa, right?
Right.
So now is when I take you back to when the detective was saying, hey, we were doing what cops do best, being nosy.
What cops do best, and that's being nosy and talking to people.
Inadvertently getting more sex workers killed.
Right.
Doing what cops do best. That's what that was, bud. That's what he's bragging about.
Good job.
Yeah. And when they catch him, JMank is like, so he did make him run for it. And the cop's like, nah. I mean, it'd have been pretty unwise for him to try that, but he did. Like, because they were all there with their guns and they would have busted him so bad. Anyway, just another reason why I didn't like him. Yeah?
Yeah, I feel you, man. He sucks.
He sucks. Okay, so. Oh, no, but then the craziest part is, so all these 4 murders happen within 12 days. It's like a 12-day period that this goes down. And the scariest part is, so he kills Melissa, the first sex worker, for maybe she, like the episode says, because power had shifted or whatever. Anyway, he kills her and realizes that he likes it too much and wants to do it again. Mm-hmm. So that's why all these follow-ups happened, was because he got the bug.
Yeah, because the monster came out and he liked the monster.
That's scary. It also kind of blurs the line. He's a serial killer, but he's also kind of a spree because this is all kind of the same stretch.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like they were planned very well because he was sloppy.
He was super sloppy, and his whole thing was just to shoot him in the back. Like, that was what he got off on. It's a weird thing to be like, I gotta ruin my life for this. I gotta shoot a woman in the back and then drive off. This is my thing. I'm going down for it.
So stupid.
Oh, and also in the interrogation, okay. So there's that one point where I was like laughing with the guy because he was talking about smoking those dudes.
Yeah, who's the trooper I smoked, man? The trooper couldn't keep up with me, dude.
But then when he was doing the impression of Claudine in the car saying, you're probably the killer. You're probably the killer.
No, dude. No, that. No, dude. No, I don't want to go after all. You're probably the killer. You're probably the killer.
I didn't appreciate that. He was being too flippant. His replay of it was too much for yucks.
It didn't seem realistic. It sounded so fake. He's a bad actor.
Yeah, he's terrible and he's a monster. And when he came into court, the mom screams at him and he does this little smirk.
Maldito asesino! Maldito desgraciado!
Order! He just gave this smirk.
And this is when I came up. You know how I like to come up with new ways to fix the judicial system, right? I'm like known for this. I always got like good ideas. I got a new one here. Ready? I think when someone is convicted of murder, the mother of the victim, or hey, you know what, chosen family member, is allowed to spit in their face. What do you think? Give them a good old spit.
What if?
Because look, I'm willing to look the other way when it comes to that being cruel or unusual punishment. Get over it. It's just spit in your face. But I know it would really sting these guys. Like if that crying mother had gotten to go up to him and just go and then walk away, he would be fuming. You know how much that would drive him nuts?
Unless he's into it.
You know what? You're right. Like, what if the monster likes spit play?
Yeah.
You got me there.
You never know.
I just wish there was something. All right, well, so where are we? What are we missing here?
Talk about the third victim, who was found later. Like,
right.
They found this other body.
Because while Erica is telling her story to them at the rainy day when they're underneath the carport or whatever, they get a call that they found another body. That's who we're talking about. That's the third victim, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So they find a body while they're talking to her, and then during the interrogation when he was like, oh yeah, plus there's one more. Because when he was leaving that gas station when they caught him, he had just come from killing someone else. Because he was like, I'm going to get busted. I might as well go out in a blaze of glory. Like, he was like, I'm going to keep doing it till I get busted.
And he sent texts to his family and friends.
Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Facebook updates. And he referred to himself as Doc.
That was his nickname. A fact I found out in an article. And again, I go, JMank. That was your op.
Where were you on that one?
That was your op to just say, hey, they used to call him Doc, right?
And where did that nickname come from?
I don't know. But yeah, it said Doc Ortiz is checking out or whatever, and to my family, I love them, and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he was ready to go out in a blaze of glory, suicide by cop or something. But he was too stupid, and they caught him at the gas station. So, joke's on you, David Ortiz. We've got 4 dead bodies. He's convicted. He gets life and all the good stuff. Of course, he tried to say that his confession was coerced. And I just hope they said, oh, really? We're going to play this little video here. You talk about bragging about how fast you run, and then you say, hey, you can take these cuffs off. I promise I won't hurt you. Like, that sounds like a real coerced confession.
Yeah, you're under a lot of pressure there, bud.
All right, well, is it list time? Let's talk about our lists.
All right. Is it a small town? The kind of place where things like this just don't happen here? Kind of.
Yeah, if it had happened on Stephen King Boulevard, then that would fit real good.
Laredo is a border town in Texas. It's really safe. So, yeah, actually, murders like this kind of don't happen there.
I'll count it.
Is there a Florida connection? No, but it's Texas. Similar vibes.
Same. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And military.
And?
Yes.
Yep.
Juan David Ortiz, the border patrol officer, had been in the military.
And also had a plate that said he was a disabled veteran. But then he outran those police.
Well...
So maybe we should look into that fraud as well.
Kurt, not all disabilities are visible.
But to put on a plate that lets you get that parking spot?
You could have PTSD. You could have any kind of psychological thing. You could have...
Oh, okay. All right, so now it's time for my list. Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
Did anybody say it's like a movie? No. Did anybody say... It's like on a Dateline I saw? No, but kinda, and it was JMank again, because he was talking about in his great opening about the literary wizards of the past. He says, these are the kind of crimes that we talk about a lot on Dateline. So I'm counting that one.
We cover a lot of that on Dateline, too.
And then also, Signs of a Struggle.
Signs of a Struggle.
No mention of Signs of a Struggle. I can't compare this to the Burbs in one single way.
Nobody struggled.
Nobody struggled.
No.
Yeah, because they thought they were leaving.
Mm-hmm.
This coward shot him in the back. Lame.
You hit the nail on the head there.
And with that, I got good news. I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
I'm Lester Holt. For all of us, I'm Lester Holt. Good night.
Take them off. Do it.